mihi inu. Koutou? Ai, koau. Hui anō, tia mauri ora. He tautoko ki ngā mihi kua mihi a I raro o te turunui o tātou whare I te wāra. Nō reira, Amotai tēnā koutou, o koutou karanga, ko hoki mai nei e te whānau tautoko I tēnei wā, hei apopo, are ana, koutou ki tō hō mahi, ngā mihi. I just also need to acknowledge all of the partners, a number of them, in fact, all of them are flashed up, but do want to acknowledge Russell Group and Superfund and Hāpai, who have been briefly mentioned this morning, who, together with us, we own this magnificent property. If I could, I just really want to acknowledge all of the inspiring speakers. So I actually do know where Whareponga Valley is. Approached my cousin Kitty afterwards and said I come from Penu. And we're really famous right now. My cousin Monty is #1 bookseller in our country, and #2. So #1's a hardback, #2's the softback. I strongly encourage you procure that taonga. But let's just touch on the theme of what's stimulating us. There's a couple of the sort of things that drive the Ngāi Tai nation, and a number of them have materialised through law and statutory acts. So if I think about the Resource Management Act, for example, when that came out, I was actually over in Australia building the North Sydney Bank for a company called Bechtel. And over there, they were telling me, hey, you see what you guys are doing over in the NZ? Oh, what are you doing? You guys allow anything as long as you prove there are no adverse effects to the environment. You see, in Australia, before that act occurred, it was like New Zealand. You could do A, B, C, but you couldn't do 1, 2, 3. That's how it was. The Resource Management Act came along and said you can do anything you like as long as you can prove there's no adverse effects to the environment. Hence, consult. Consult is one of 3 salts that are well known in the Ngāi Tai nation. And in fact, without the consult, it doesn't actually materialise the second salt, which is insult. And of course, without both of those salts, you don't get the last salt. And in the Ngāi Tai nation, pretty colourful background, the last salt was normally assault. E ngā kaimahi o te kaunihere o Tāmaki makaure e mohi o nei, o mātou reo me ono tikanga, hei kaitiaki o tātou taonga kei waho. So we don't apologise for our commitment to protect the remnants of our history. Of course, when I came back to New Zealand to do the viewing deck of the Sky Tower, I sort of went, wow, I want to use this act to materialise my leader's dream. And so those that are from Tāmaki, I apologise for the toilet seat that's only half down. Apparently it's a halo. I built the Royal Sun Alliance Tower, which is actually now the Vera. And I've done a number of major projects, including Homebush Stadium for the 2000 Olympics for Bechtel. And at the age of 34, I thought I'd retired. Came home to my marae, and as you learn with your people, once you go home, especially when you tell them you've retired at 34, they get busy eroding your retirement plan and your retirement fund. Consequently, I'm 3 sleeps away from retiring the chair of Ngāi Tai ki Tāmaki that I've been privileged, sometimes cursed to be, for 13 years. I'm down to 3 sleeps. They can't happen fast enough. And I'm excited for our people's future about many things that you've shared today, whether it's innovate, inspire, create, Look, we just use one word, hustle. Ngāi Tai are born hustlers. If you want to lead Ngāi Tai, education's great. Science is awesome. Maths is really cool. But action's everything. There's no action, you ain't leading our nation. And leadership don't come with an age. It comes with a purpose, a cause, and an unrelenting dedication to succeed. And so I'm really chuffed at the moment about the number of rangatahi running for 4 jealous positions on the board, which will be elected and finalised on Saturday. I'm really, really excited about where they're going to take us, but I'm often reminded by my peers about be careful what you wish for. So look, a couple of things around procurement. Disclosure, work diligently with Kāinga Order and MHUD, and have, in the last 3 years with our property company, established a pretty significant presence within the development of, and our contribution to the housing challenges and crises here in Tāmaki. And so yes, we've done a number of significant projects at scale. I really do apologise. I eat maps, I eat plans, and I eat contract language in my sleep. And I love it. Because when I wake up, aroha mai, I know exactly what I'm signing and why I'm signing. So one thing we won't do for our people is put their future at risk. So the things that you'll hear us talk about are zero risk and zero debt. And so that comes down to partnerships, building relationships. Ngāi Tai is not arrogant or ignorant enough to think it will win the war by itself. And in fact, we're prepared to lose the odd battles to win that war. But relationships are key, because our relationships that we have, and whether it's property, whether it's aquaculture, we're doing 2 mussel farms right now in Hauraki, and we've just lodged our first oyster farm. That's going through consents at the moment. We've got whale and dolphin watch, tiri, Peretu, as Tama alluded to earlier, Motatapu, our interest in Waiheke, Hunua Falls, e-bike tours, you name it. The only encumbrance on Ngāi Tai is its imagination. The challenges that you've shared today, in your DNA, are within your grasp to succeed. And I can say that to you quite easily, because the things you're hearing about of establishment, and these things have happened during COVID. Amos talked earlier about their largest job in their history at their highest ever speak. He said, you did it on time, on budget, under budget. No, we didn't. We did it on budget 10 months before the program on a very busy road. So those of you that enjoy your valley or your domain or your ocean, and you know it and you believe it, it's actually quite easy to hustle. And I'll come back to how shortly. And in acknowledging relationships, it just so happens that I was actually born into Tairāwhiti. I don't know what I did. I lasted 2 days. My grandfather put me in a mussel truck and sent me from my real mother to her sister up here in Clevedon. And I've been here ever since. And I was brought up Ngāi Tai Ngāti Pāoa. I am intimate with my Ngāti Porou side. But I've been committed to my grandfather's side from the age of 2 days old. I lodged my first land claim in the Māori Land Court at the age of 11 with my mum and my nan. And have carried on, if you were, the bastion of my mother and the legacy she left behind. But in the relationships we have locally here, it just turns out that they're titans. They're not just players, and in many indirect regards, a lot of the families are sitting in the room. And so they just happen to be titans. And it makes for our collaboration and our ability to partner natural. I'm really, really embarrassed almost that the path that we've taken hasn't been without challenge, but from what you've shared today, I do really, really envy your appetite to take the challenges on that you are to succeed how you want. So in these relationships that evolve partnerships, you see, because in the relationships for us locally, it's about marriages. So we've actually got that stuff going on too. And some of that's deliberate as well. My grandfather won the Ahu Whenua, was the last winner here in Tāmaki, Makaurau in 1956. Down at, we still own our farm in Ngāi Tai. That trophy hasn't been back here since, and we've actually lost that whole economy, right? Even as a family today. So we still own it. Yes, we lease it out to our whānau at sort of, those discounted, I hope we get paid this year, sort of thing. Because those are the things you have to do for whānau, right, in the background. But here's the thing, all of our neighbours all know. So everybody chips in. When we all suffer, we all suffer. When we all fly, we all fly. But the most important thing is we all get a drink. Shortly. So on the marriages and the relationships that eventuate partnerships, can I just touch on the buyers that are in the room? I can tell you with evidence that some of the frustration I've observed are the third-party spokes in all the wheels, particularly in the consulting field, that inadvertently just don't get it and play an economic role with housekeeping. How they're going to perform, we've heard it, right? So I see these things most days. I live in this field. We just need you guys to keep it on, because you're the action, and you just need to remember that. You're the assault. And if you choose to get complacent or get tired, then, we're at that point of let nature take its course. So I do challenge the buyers to assure themselves that, and I heard some great examples of bringing suppliers in and having these one-on-ones, so that there's some whakawhanaungatanga, regardless of the business. Because unless that's there, if you won't have a kai with Ngāi Tai, kōpau, we're done. Hey, because you just need to get that stuff, make sure we're still talking after that kai. Hey, as family, because it makes business quite easy. So if we had any success today, it is around our relationships who happen to be these titans of their fields. If we measure that in that way, we're in big trouble. And you've shared this openly today, right? Because that's just one aspect of many pose. So yeah, we're putting houses up at scale at the highest spec. Yes, we're doing all of these peripheral things in an establishment form, but how many Ngāi Tai homeless got a home in this period? And I can't tell you. So keep asking me that question when you see me, because I'm hell-bent on giving you that answer one day. And that answer I'm going to give you is zero. Zero. Because it is fortunate, I guess, and really fortunate that we have whakawhanaungatanga with our little bits of what we have to grab the other bits we didn't have from each other. And so the first thing we need to do for each other is build a bridge and get over it. Really. I mean, there's a lot of tension in Tāmaki, Makaurau, if you know this town. And until those tensions are resolved, we're not actually going to realise or materialise our optimum potential. Yes, we're realising potential. Yes, we're materialising some form of success. But man, we've got a long way to go. So I just wanted to share with you, without any prejudice, how we honour the action that you're bringing. I met with Amotai in their early days, had a great relationship with the Southern Initiative. We're both a buyer and a supplier. We have an identity crisis of sorts. But I'd have to disclose and own that we're yet to really engage the platform. But I do want to honour a number of things that I've been busy today, like, you know, we together mop this floor while we got all these manuiri here. Ko wai no he tō kaupapa ke kone, eh? Who are we, why are we here, and what do we do? Because I want to know. Might have an alignment, might have a something, right? And this is what Amotai have made me appreciate and realise today in real time about the peripheral values of having Amotai extending on the great work of the Southern Initiative locally and now the Western Front. I feel sorry for Taraki Pai. Who's looking after Taraki Pai whenua? Anybody? I did say to Amos, we are making our way over the shore. Must be us. So, yeah, look, just to honour and celebrate where you are. Don't worry about how hard it is, right? Be careful what you're really wishing for. And I do want to sort of end with 3 sleeps. I retire this privilege. I get this capacity back of sorts, about 0.5. Freelancing at fair and reasonable rates. I think about, you know, the Māori economy through mana or navigating it. I reckon a word rate. I'll speak slowly. But I want to end with leadership as I have my 3 sleeps. Procurement. And I look around the room and I look around the whanaungatanga and the shared journey that we're all frustrated but enjoying and succeeding. But here's a couple of real life procurements in front of us about leadership. There's a local government body election on, right? Now, I'm not a fan of either, but I know both. But you just got to ask yourself about how we're feeling, kei roto i te manawa, and what we can see, what we can hear, and actually what we know in our DNA. So like, I'll just encourage you, hey, that's action. Procure the next local leader, no matter where you come from. You get to go again next year, procure that too. Because if you're not procuring in that space, I'd actually ask you an honest question about why you're in this space. You see, if Ngāi Tai had a success today, it actually penetrated the doors of ministry and said, actually, no, we won't have Mr. Old Māori mum talk for us. They don't swear. They don't drink whiskey. And they apologise. We don't do that. We speak for ourselves, and this is what we want to speak about. Why, how it happens, and when. And some of these living examples we have is no council consenting planners in the room. So one of the reasons we jumped the program was I live a world of common sense will catch up. So the Crown know this, I think they'll blind themselves, and good on them. And all of our partners know, especially in construction, here goes James, hasn't got a consent and he's away. Why can't the rest of us do this? Well, the reason why is because you've bought that bureaucracy. And the difference between us and that is we haven't. We're still back at consult, insult, we'll do the job. That's the assault these days. Now, that's not breaking rules. That's not shortcutting anything, because if somebody can show me outside, anywhere in Aotearoa, that any legislation or any statute or any act future-proofed anywhere in Aotearoa, point that out. Please point that out. Because I haven't found it. And it certainly ain't here. So if we're going to stand these houses up at speed, at high quality, we do it on our DNA, which means on our time. So in the end, it does equal tension, but it's worth it because our job is going. Our people are out there working. And I want buyers to also realise this. The days of recruitment, as you know, are so challenging. In fact, Ngāi Tai's got 3 property partners, I won't name them. Collectively, just in Aotearoa today are advertising more than 5,000 jobs. Just 3 partners in one industry. The way and traditions of how we used to recruit, and I'm talking about great reputable partners who have had decades on decades and decades of access and shared benefit of our people. We're in every infrastructure part of the industry. We always have been, we always will be. However, how we used to go there has changed. Dad used to take son. Son used to bring cousin. Cousin would bring mate. Right? That's finished. That's been finished for ages. So what I want the buyers to realise as you embark on this, because this is great, it's the future of your HR investment, is the platform that Amotai provide into the Māori and the Pacific Island nations, and the bandwidth of their products, services, skills and attributes. And, you know, one thing we have that not many others have is our wraparound is inherent. It really is. So if we stay together, we encourage each other, that's part of this wraparound, keep each other up, because what you've just heard about started in an optical sense with no money, no risk, no debt, and all of these things have been created in a real-time sense, but using an optical presence of what was possible. That, in a nutshell, was just one example of the hustle that Ngāi Tai wake up for every day, that you do too. And just really honoured and privileged to be in your company and your presence. So, 3 more sleeps here inu. Oh, kaore ko koe ka haere koe ki te kāinga. Tana mahi koe ki tō tama. So, on that note, whānau, ānei mātou tupoto tēnei i ngā kōrero mātou i te kāinga kia koutou. E raro o te turunui o tātou whare, e ngā iwi o te motu. Tēnei te mihi atu o mātou o Ngāi Tai kia koutou. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou.